had this really strong dream of climbing a very certain route. It's kind of like a bike rider or a sailor or, you know, kind of an adventurer that has an idea of a certain line or a map or a route or a country they want to go to. So as a climber, I saw this one crack, this one line on this 500-foot rock face in Tahquitz, Southern California. It was a stone I grew up on. I grew up on meaning that I'd go there and climb every weekend. So one day after a roped up climb with my brother and a couple other friends, I was the last one to go come back down, and I started climbing up this crack. I wouldn't even have led it ever on a rope. I hadn't ever led it on a rope before, meaning I never climbed it on a rope. Okay. It was on-site free solo, which is kind of the most scary and kind of gnarly because you have no idea what's gonna come, you know, what you're gonna run into. And as I was 3/4 of the way up it, I was in this very small crack with just the crack only holding this much of my fingers in it. Oh my gosh. Finger over finger over finger, and my feet were spread out on this kind of, you know, this book kind of face. The crack was right inside. Okay. Feet were spread out on the sides, on nothing, just flat face. Yes. And my hands slipped, my feet slipped. One of my hands slipped and I caught myself hanging on one hand, and I was hanging in the air. And my brothers and friends all watched me and saw that, and
how scary that would be.
They said they almost died watching it. Yeah, you know, their hearts jumped out of their chest. You know, when the mind and body become scared, you start to sweat, kind of. And climbers have a chalk bag, and a chalk bag is usually hung on the side or the back. Yeah. And you have to be able to get to it to dip your hand into a little chalk to take the sweat away. Yeah. Did you have chalk? I had chalk. Yeah, I had chalk. That was the one thing I did climb with when I went free soloing. Yeah. So I dipped my fingers in it, got my mind back around, squared off, and centered. You know, pretty quickly you have to make that happen and get your senses about you and finish the last 100 feet of the climb.
What did you feel like when you finished it?
Oh, it was, you know, it's like the best feeling ever. Surviving. You know, surviving through something that may have easily, you know, killed me.